Hi there, it's me, Rishi. Today we're talking about JJ McCullough, and yes, my 2 subscribers, another video about a person, not an object. I slowed down my object videos because why not? Anyways, this video is actually like the closest thing I'll make to an actually well thought out video, rather than me barely refacing the first paragraph of a Wikipedia page. Now to the actual video. Before we start, let me give you some background information about JJ. He's a Canadian political YouTuber who lives in Vancouver. He comments on politics and situations worldwide. However, he comments a bit more on Canadian things. Now, I'm 16, and commenting on actual politics, this would not really bode well for my future, which is why I'm not actually going to be commenting on the political things he says. Because for the most part, and I also don't want to start beef with JJ because I like his videos. They're like he like and analyzes things. Like I might not agree with him on everything, but like he makes good videos, and that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is comment on bagged milk, because I, for one, live in Ontario where we drink bagged milk. Like most of the population drinks out of bagged milk, and um, where was I? Yes. And so that's basically what I'm commenting on because, I care about my future not being screwed over. This chair is loud. Anyways, but one video he did make was very flawed and was not factual, and that was the video about bagged milk. He left out a lot of details and made some far-fetched claims that were not very true. Mr. McCullough, like many West Coast residents, are not the biggest fans of Toronto or Ontario in general. And although much of this hate that we receive is fair because, we get all the attention for being the biggest province, and, Torontonians say, like, Nyai, you can expect your entire nation to be ashamed of you after saying that. Um, Please don't get mad at me if you say Nyai. Anyways, one angle of attack on Ontarians waged by none other than the person that this video is talking about is in relation to bagged milk is not deserved, or even factual. Now again, I'd like to point out that I enjoy JJ's videos, and the only reason I even made this video is because I found his complaints on bagged milk while sifting through his old videos to find this 2016 video. Now you may be asking why I'm making a response to a video made 4 years ago. Well, that's because I'm bored. The basis of JJ's video is the notion that all Canadians use bagged milk, and considering how extremely similar Canadian and American products are, it's quite a big deal for both sides. JJ says this notion is false, and he is correct to an extent that a significant chunk of Canada's population doesn't use bagged milk. However, he makes further claims that just aren't true. JJ, like I said before, is a Vancouverite, and the West Coast does not see bagged milk in the year 2020. But you see, they did have bagged milk before that. Bagged milk became a standard across Canada shortly after metrification. It existed in Canada before that, as a Canadian version of the milk carton. It exists because instead of refitting all the factories to the new measurements, it was easier to refit and resize bags. Bagged milk was a Canada-wide phenomenon. A notion that all Canadians use bagged milk was never an Ontario special thing. It was an all-of-Canada product that existed in all of Canada for a decade or two. Later on, however, the hard plastics that made up milk jugs became cheaper, and Mulroney loosened the regulations around the metric system, leading many of the provinces to slowly phase out milk bags. Ontario, however, kept them, due to lingering regulations. That's not all. Even today, Ontario isn't the only province to have bagged milk. Quebec, Canada's second most populated province, has a significant bagged milk population. In the Maritimes as well, also like Quebec, have a significant percentage of milk sold in bags. All this brings the grand total, even today, to about 50% of the population. Now, in my opinion, a phenomenon that all of a nation uses at one point and 50% of the nation still partakes in is a very well a national phenomenon. Now on to the West Coast thing. The West Coast not using bags. Let's take a look at JJ's home province of British Columbia. Now I'm not good and why they have such a strong drug market. Well, it turns out it's just a result of immense amount of cross-border trade that happens in BC, making British Columbians drinking out of jugs less of a Canadian thing. Yet another point for bagged milk being a Canadian thing, not an Ontario thing, because jugs in British Columbia is just a result of American cross-trading. Anyways, now that we've established that Ontarians don't just feel special and bagged milk is being considered, a Canadian thing is well-founded. I just said that sentence really weirdly. No, my computer just shut down. Okay, I'm gonna have to talk without a script. Now that we've already said that, why do people drink out of bags? Well, that's because bags are better in general. Because now that we've covered them being Canadian, well, because they're better for the environment. Because they use less plastic, and also because of cartons, you can actually recycle cartons because of the things, and they're cheaper because of the use of less plastic in a bag itself. They're cheaper, so they're cheaper and better for the environment. There's like, it's just better in general. The only, um, and yeah. Anyways, and this chair is so loud. Now, I would feel disingenuous to just leave this video at that because I've been saying it's Canadian this whole time. It's not actually exclusively a Canadian, or for JJ's sake, a 50% Canadian thing. Bagged milk also exists in other countries such as Colombia or South Africa. In South Africa, I know for a fact that it's also hasn't been regulated by the milk board, which got abolished a long time ago. So it's been on its own, thriving through the private market because bagged milk, like I said before, is just better. And so, yes, it's not an exclusively Canadian thing. However, because Canadian identity still revolves around not being American, it is still a Canadian. Anyways, so it is not an exclusively Canadian thing. However, it is still a Canadian thing, and not Ontarians trying to feel special by taking all the credit. Um, if anything, you are trying to feel special by saying that just because a couple provinces, where even though Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes use it, and 50% of the population, it's almost like you are trying to get rid of something that most Canadians do. Like, there are some Canadians that, like, Alberta has way less maple syrup farms than Quebec, but you don't hear. I feel like I'm going off track here. This is why I need a script. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you like this video, probably shouldn't subscribe because it's the only video I've made like this. Because most of my other videos are weird. But if this is kind of popular, then I might make more of these. So you should subscribe. I don't just subscribe if you want to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bing.